What is your earliest memory of Rothbury Hall?
Our nan and granddad were caretakers here. They lived in the flat upstairs, and we've got photos of my mum's wedding here, because it was a church, and we've got a photo of Harvest Festival here. It brings back a lot of memories.
Because we've got the old keyboard, don't we?
Yeah.
The old board of keys from when your grandparents were caretakers here, and it's still here and hangs next door, which is always quite amazing.
Yeah.
Remind me of their names.
Bertha and Arthur.
That's
Hammerset. Because you liked the name Bertha, didn't you?
Yeah, it's lovely.
My granddad, I don't know whether Granddad worked for the post office then. We couldn't have done. He was caretaker here, but he used to make all the wedding cakes. If there were weddings, he'd have the order for the wedding cakes. There was a photo of my mum's wedding cake, and that was what he used to. A contribution, sort of apart from being caretaker. But as far as I'm aware, they were here. I know they were here in 36.
Wow.
1936, because I've got a postcard. From my aunt that lived in Azoff Street, or from my mum to my aunt, and that was dated 36, and it was saying about coming to see mum and dad at Rothbury Hall. So I know they were here in 36, but how much before that or how much after, I don't know.
So you've got a strong personal family connection with this place.
Yeah.
Amazing. My earliest memory of Rothbury Hall is arriving here for a job interview in 2016, and I walked in and I thought, oh my lord, what is this bonkers place full of art and amazingness, and I really wanted to work here, and there was just somebody I remember who was in the middle of the room making these giant illuminated butterflies, and I suddenly felt like Rothbury Hall was a place brimming with creativity, and a place that I really wanted to spend more time.
We're going to do what you remember about Rothbury Hall.
Well, I only remember bits, you know.
I don't remember anything. Of course,
years ago, they used to
up.
have the table tennis and whatever they do.
So was it like a youth club?
Yes,
Right.
and it was, and you had to go to church, otherwise you couldn't go to the youth club.
So what, the Congregational Church or whatever it was called?
Yeah,
then?
well, it was here.
Yeah.
They had the church here,
Yeah.
and then you had to go every Sunday, and then you could go to the club.
Right, but it
In the
wasn't.
evening.
It wasn't like the Church of England or
No.
anything.
But and they used to do all sorts, like football and
In Rothbury Hall?
like
in the room that we use for People's Parlour.
yeah.
Or
well,
in the main.
no, they used
church?
to go upstairs. The
Oh,
church
right.
was downstairs.
Oh,
And,
right.
and my Peter did tell me the vicar's name, but I've forgotten it. But and they did quite a bit here.
Did they used to have a Rothbury Hall football kit?
No, I can't remember. No, I think they used to wear job things and just t-shirts. Yeah.
Things were far less formal back in the day,
Yeah.
Maya. You know, before everybody had to have £50
That's
football
right.
shirts.
And it wasn't like big hard footballs. It was like them soft.
Yeah, we
thing.
can't imagine them playing football upstairs in a church, can you?
Yeah.
I've lived here 34 years, and it's always been shut up until we came to People's Parlour, to the point where it looks quite forbidding on Azoff Street.
Yeah.
And so you never got the feeling that there was really there was no community thing going on. It was a place for makers, but you didn't even see makers very often going in and out. We just knew about it. So.
Right.
My friend's dad went to Scouts here, which I always love the
Oh,
story.
yeah.
I can remember when I was telling him where I worked, he was like, oh, I know.
Let's talk about memories of Rothbury Hall. So to start with, what's your earliest memory of Rothbury Hall?
Well, I've lived in Azoff Street for nearly 20 years, and long before I knew anything about emergency exit arts, I used to admire the architecture. I always thought it was a terrific looking building.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Just plonked on the end of the street. Yeah, we've got some of the members of the People's Parlour have got some pretty incredible memories of this place, don't they? I know that Anne, who can't be here, because of illness, actually was born, I think she was born at number 16 and now lives at number 43, and that's kind of as far as she's gone in her lifetime. And
She told me about her memories of Rothbury Hall.
did she?
She started coming here when she was 4 years old to Sunday school, and she came all during the war when the basement was used as an air raid shelter for the local people. And she said there was like a trap door and a very steep flight of stairs going down into the basement. And
I remember her telling me that her dad and another dad built some bunk beds so that when people came in for the air raid shelter at night, the kids could get some kip in the bunk beds. I always remember that. Because now going down to the cellar, you can't imagine the idea of spending full nights trying to sleep down there. It's really very much a basement. And because of the proximity that we have to the river, is really quite damp in there and also prone to the odd flood.
oh goodness.
So I have been down there when there's been sort of a foot of water. Yeah. What are some other things that Anne? I remember her getting very excited because Tony Oven from St Mark's Church brought in. They now look after the silver, the goblet, and the stuff for communion that used to exist here at Rothbury Hall right from when it was open in 1894. And I remember Anne having loads of memories sparked by that because she used to take her communion with that silver. And then obviously we had a visit from it sort of a bit of time ago, which was quite amazing.
My first memory.
Yeah. First time you came here.
I thought, what was this building when it was in its heyday? I thought maybe it was like an old fire engine place or something. I'm not actually sure what it is, what it used to be. But it's cool.
Mission Church, built in 1894
There you go.
for the poor communities of East Greenwich.
It's very pretty.
It is very pretty, isn't it?
My cousin, my uncle, my mother's brother, and his wife and 2 children lived in Mauritius Road, and I can remember walking down Mauritius Road. I was always frightened of Rothbury Hall. It was always gated and sinister looking. Didn't realise
I don't remember nothing of Rothbury Hall.
Well, you wouldn't go down there. I mean, the only reason I used to go down there was to my
The only thing I know, if my son was here, he's 49 and he used to come to the club here.
The youth club.
Yeah, the youth club. So, but other than that, I never... The only thing I know about Rothbury Hall was I used to come to bingo with my mother-in-law, Betty. Not bingo, sorry, we didn't have bingo. Jumble sales in here.
Right.
She begged me, oh, please come Saturday, they've got a jumble sale.
When was this?
When you were first married, or a few years on?
Yeah,
So
that'd
when was
be
you married?
1966.
In Azov Street,
Yeah.
there was also, you know, the council flats were on the corner of Azov Street.
Yeah.
Reading
And then behind them, there's now quite a modern block of flats. And at one time there was a hall there. I think it belonged to Rothbury Hall, but I'm not quite sure. I used to go tap dancing in there.
Really?
I used to go dancing in the
I don't think it
Ormond,
lasted very long. One of those things I took up.
doing
and
the
then-
quick step,
Oh, lovely.
waltz and all that, you know.
But actually the building, apart from that, I always thought it was eerie because I never went down Azov Street.
Okay.
Till later years. My mother's younger sister married somebody that lived in Azov Street.
Enjoyment, laughter. We do. The
Yeah,
quizzes are good.
sociability.
Yeah, mixing with people,
yeah,
so you're not lonely indoors on your own. It is.
It's
like Jean, little
yeah,
Jean in
yeah.
there. She would be lonely if she didn't get out, you know. And she does walk a lot. We got her last week walking all up the high street, went everywhere with her.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the whole, I haven't got any memories.
No, I've only got memories of Jumble Sale. That was all.
I didn't even get. As I say, to me, it was just a sinister building. I didn't like it as a child.
Do you remember anything that you bought from the jumble sale?
I never. My mother-in-law used to buy cardigans and loads of stuff. Pramful she used to buy.
Lovely.
My earliest memory of Rothbury Hall was of Deb interviewing me.
and going through and explaining everything to me and taking me around and showing me the place, the beautiful place, and the yard and the building and everything that was made in there. I just thought it was a hive of activity. It was the perfect container for all the stuff that we were making.
What I first knew about Rothbury Hall was it was a mystery place. No one seemed to know what happened in here. And then I found out that things like Boy Scout troop was in here. But I never come to that one because I went to another one in Christchurch. But that's all I knew for many years, that it was a mystery. It was like don't go near Rothbury Hall. And then I did find out about the Boy Scouts. And then I did nothing else until about 7 years ago. I got in a little group who talked about Greenwich. And we used to go to schools. And we used to meet in the same room as we're in there.
So were you in the Boy Scouts here as well?
Not in this hall. I was in the Boy Scouts. These was our enemies.
Oh, really?
How long have you been in the area, Tom?
78 years out of 78.
Nice.
And a half.
Yeah, just I thought it was a wonderful treasure trove of exciting things. Every time you went through another door, it seemed really big as well when I first came here. And every time I went through a door, there'd be like a massive metal elephant or a stained glass window.
And the stained glass window.
The windows are fantastic. And then the roof, the beautiful pointy bits on the roof.
And inside it also has a lot of height that you can use for things.
Stories, I think a couple of stories Mum, I can remember parts Mum told me, was that our grandmother used to play the organ here. There was a huge organ, which is where the stage is now. At the back of there was where it was like an altar when it was a church. There was a huge organ there. And she used to play the organ at sort of weddings and if there were funerals or christenings, that type of thing. She used to play all the music, Sunday morning services.
Well, I was brought up churchified, and then for a few years I lapsed when I had my children at that. And I don't know what it was, but one day when I was living round there, I had a little note through the door, an invitation to come to Rothbury for the church. And they used to have 2 services then, one in the morning, one in the evening. And I thought, yeah, I'll go. My husband wasn't very keen because I believe he thought I was going to get over religious. Anyway, I went, and it was the nicest thing. Everybody was so welcoming, and directly I came in here, I just felt, because I was quite shy when I was younger, and it was such a lovely feeling, and I've been back to church ever since.
Oh, really? What year was that in, Peggy?
Oh my goodness.
Roughly?
Roughly, well, about 30 years ago.
Okay.
A good 30 years, yeah.
No, how old are you now?
91.
So it was more than 30, wasn't it?
It could be, it could have been.
Probably in the 80s, so about
oh yes, yeah,
40.
Easily. Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been here 52 years.
Wow, 52 years?
Up in Tunnel Avenue, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so my boys was young when they came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would be nice to have some youth club activities, though, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Because there's nothing for young people around
No,
here.
but this is it.
Yeah.
So if young people came...
Yeah. And it would be really nice to see some... I can't imagine them being allowed to play football, however.
Right. Can I just ask, what would you like to see happen in Rothbury Hall in the future?
Well, I'd personally like it to be even more accessible to the community, because I think it's been great that we've been using it, but we only use it once a week, and it would be really nice if it had a more sort of open feeling to it, which is partly governed by being able to control, which groups are using it, and having some funding for some of these groups.
That's right, and more things going on, you know.
Yeah. So it's more of a hub.
Yeah.
Because we have no other community space in East Greenwich at all.
No.
There's nothing.
No.
So yeah, it would be really nice to see it used.
Yeah.
In a much more sort of,
yeah.
regular way.
But we are trying to build it up, aren't we?
Yeah,
You know, we've got people coming in to show us things and sort of, because we're trying to do it on our own, which we ain't doing too bad.
No, it's worked, hasn't it?
Yeah, I miss her, but there you go. But you know, it's a lovely club.
Yeah.
Well, I see the building's got lots of potential, and it's a bit derelict at the moment, and I think like there's bits of its parts that you see like popping out, like, you know, the columns with the little angels and stuff like that. I would like for the building to like go back to its former glory and have a little bit more of that potential. It's been used for like so many years, and you can really see like how that's affected the structure, and I would like to have some time and effort put into it and just bring the building back to a little bit of its, I guess, former glory when it used to be a church.
Well, actually, I would love to restore that other room, to bring back the dados and the columns. And what I would do is I would do like they do on the television, that Nick Knowles programme.
Okay.
And I'd bring in a team to just restore that whole room in a day, because it's such a fantastic space, and it's got so much history and so much has happened in there. It's got a lovely atmosphere because it's been a church. That's what I'd do.
And I would like to be restored so that, you know, it doesn't fall apart like sometimes.
It'd be nice to get rid of the fake ceiling.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the height of the building. I'm sure that's probably really bad energy-wise in the winter to keep it warm, but I just...
I'm not sure what is upstairs actually, because there's another space upstairs.
Yeah, the fake ceiling.
So
when they first moved in there, they used to use it as storage. I think they used to hang things from the ceiling, which sounds amazing.
And have the windows restored so that they kind of look, you know, that can survive
and the
for
floor.
longer. The floor.
There's an amazing wooden parquet floor.
Is there?
Yeah, that just needs to... And there's a cellar. I can remember the first time I went to the cellar, although that's...
Or the pyro stuff is,
I'd probably been working here for about 2 years before I realised there was a cellar.
Yeah. I don't think
and
I've
I
been.
literally, my brain was
You
like...
haven't been to the cellar?
No.
You should go to the cellar.
No.
I mean, the building itself is stunning, you know, just the top of it and everything, and it would be great if it could just be, if it could survive and be put back to what it was.
I'd throw it open to the local community, people of all ages, and rather like the
Fun palaces.
The fun palaces, thank you.
Yeah.
That kind of idea, but that needs a lot more publicity.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I think you feel connected without...
probably connected.
I'd like to think people like this would have a little say if someone said, we're going to do this, so-and-so of it.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, we just lost Greenwich Library.
Yeah.
Because it was given to Greenwich and they're selling it. I get a little bit annoyed that I don't think it's Greenwich Council was to sell. I think it was Anne, the people.
Yeah.
So I'd hate something like that to happen here.
Yeah, it needs to remain as a place for the community.
Yeah, someone's got, well, I'm saying someone, somewhere, somehow, it's got to be preserved, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You know, if they start to, well, I don't think they could actually pull it down as such, because
it's listed.
It's a listed building.
I mean, if you think...
It's what they do to the inside of it.
If you think, take the old Greenwich Baths, it was only built in 1926, 27, and that's preserved.
Yeah.
So what's this got to be preserved, isn't it?
Yeah, since 1894.
Yeah.
What does Rothbury Hall mean to you today?
I think it's fantastic to have this centre of creativity in the street where I live, and it's great that we have the People's Parlour here, and long may it continue.
What is your favourite thing about this place?
Meeting a lot of people and actually thoroughly enjoying it for a laugh, and I look forward to every Thursday.
Yeah.
It's a part of Greenwich. It's been here quite a long time. And joining the People's Parlour with all the lovely people.
Yes.
It's a happy place.
Yeah, and it's somewhere to go because we're bored at home because we're retired.
That's right.
So we like to come out and stretch our legs.
That's it.
Lovely. What would you like to see happen to Rothbury Hall in the future?
I think it should definitely be upheld as it is. It should be kept in good repair and used basically the way it's been used at the moment, I think. I'd hate to see it being turned into flats or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because there's too many flats and you'd lose all the respect that people have got for the place. Because it is, like Tom says, it is a mystery place.
It is.
When we was kids, you was scared to go near it.
Yeah.
Because Dracula lived in it or something like that.
There's a strange feeling about this building. And
It was so out of place.
I always thought it was Russian. When I see that them rooms, I thought it was Russians or someone lived here. Yeah.
It is a special place, though, isn't it? It's very unusual.
Yeah. Well, we never knew anything. I knew very, very little until we started finding out that Lord Rothbury and the place Rothbury were
That's right,
up north and that. I knew none of that.
No. And the funny part about it is that recently on telly there's been programmes about Rothbury and about Craigside.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which was where Armstrong came from.
Okay.
And I tell you what, I do love the windows in the doors and the windows on the building, but in the doors are lovely. They got to be preserved, didn't they?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You have that.
Well, the place itself has got to be preserved with that.
I mean, when we...
Do you feel like you've got some ownership over the building a bit now through the People's Parlour?
I'm more Blackwall Tunnel girl.
Okay.
Yeah, we live down by the...
How long have you been in the area?
All my life.
Since I was... Well, I was
I'd
born
done a
in Cardiff.
recording walking along the road here.
Did you?
For someone in it. No, when I worked in Colliston House, we had some people, I don't know if they were from here, but I had to walk down past here and do this recording of all Blackwall Tunnel and everything. So my voice is on a recording.
You're famous.
Yeah.
You were born in Cardiff, and
So you don't need me because we don't know nothing.
My one was a Londoner and my grandfather was a Bristolian.
Okay.
But my grandmother didn't like Bristol and my grandfather wouldn't go back to London. So they compromised and they went across the Bristol Channel and settled in Cardiff, where both of them were unhappy. And my father was born and brought up in Cardiff, and then he came to London because he joined the army at Woolwich Barracks. It was the artillery in them days. He met my mother, and then during the war, because she was frightened of the bombing, my father said to my mother, "Go to my mother in Cardiff." So I was born there, because she was already pregnant with me. And then during the war years, when the bombing subsided, she would come back to her relative for a short while. But I suppose I was 3 or 4 when I came to live in Greenwich permanently. So I was only a Cardiff girl accidentally.
Briefly.
Accidentally.
Now you're a South East Londoner.
My mum.
But I'm down to be Welsh.
My mum had a calf down near the coming out the tunnel called the Victory, and she was 42 and she was scrubbing the floor with the old scrubbing brush, and she thought she knocked water over, but it wasn't. It was her water broke.
Was it you coming out?
And that was you?
Yeah.
Being born in Greenwich?
Yeah.
In a calf just round the
I
corner?
wasn't born in there. Wait a minute. Her water broke, so someone called an ambulance, and I was rushed to Lambeth Hospital, so I was born uptown in Lambeth.
Ooh!
And I was born leap year, the 29th of the 2nd, 1948.
Oh, really?
So you're lucky?
Yes.
Do you know the entrance to the tunnel, the old tunnel?
Yeah.
I've got
You
photos.
know, as you come out the new bore, and then to the left, there's all that grass embankment, which used to be called Ordnance Crescent, and it come out and come into Tunnel Avenue. Yeah, Tunnel Avenue. And that just as it come round the corner there was 4 or 5 shops. One of them was where her mother worked.
I was about 8 or 9. My mum was up early in the morning because she used to make all the apple pies, everything like that. And I used to go out there, climb up on their cab, knock on the window. Mum's open. All right, Mark, we'll be in there in a minute.
Ah, great.
And the 185 buses used to go around Blackwall Tunnel, didn't they? Yeah.
Well, I remember when there were trams.
Oh, well, I've got a
They
photo
used to-
of a tram.
They used to,
Thanks,
they
guys.
used to go down Tunnel Avenue and stop just before the tunnel entrance in the middle of the road because that's where the tracks were.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So we're tunnel girls.
God, you've got a lot of
We're
So
tunnel
I'm
girls.
sorry
Tunnel
that I'm,
girls.
Personally, I'd like to see it renovated back to its original state. Would be wonderful, and used for facilities for the community, i.e. such as we're doing now, People's Parlour. Obviously yourselves, if you're still here, then for you to use it as well. But it would be nice to see it put back to some sort of original state that it always was, inside and out.